If you've been watching for any period of time, you know I'm a big fan of the APP and ACP. For my purposes, they really fit the bill well. I know they're inexpensive and they're Lee products. That doesn't bother me. I really think that they work well for what they are. And they've always done a good job, especially the APP. I've always said the ACP has some quirks, and if I could replace it with something that was a little better, I would. But again, for sub $100, it does a fantastic job for what I need. But the APP is an absolute rock star, but it's not made for magnums. And as a lot of you know, I've been playing with some magnum stuff, and I've been trying to figure out how do I get my APP to work with magnums. And this is how it used to work. You had a plastic tube that would fit into the holder down here, and it's hard for me to get everything in the picture, so I'll do my best here. But there was this, and then I had this kit that I bought off eBay, which actually had another plastic piece on the top, and it would actually go up here and fit, and would fit into, still not high enough, and it would fit up here into the Dylan feeder. So I would have, this piece, it would snap in, a plastic piece would snap in there. This would go down much lower, as I talked about here. Okay. And then it would connect to the top of this tube right here, and then it would feed 284 brass just fine. So for like 308, 284 type stuff, not a problem. But you get into the wider stuff, 300 Winchester, 7 SAUM, 6.5 PRC like I'm using, it just doesn't fit. And let me show you. Let me grab one here. So here's the magnum brass. You can see, like, it's just not going to fit. It's snug in the tube. It's not going to go through. So, as is tradition, I set off to my local Ace Hardware in an attempt to make this work. So what did I find? Well, I ended up coming up with this, which I know it looks funky, but it works like a dream. Now, this is the plastic piece that came off the top of the piece I bought off eBay, the custom guy, and I did another video on it. I'll put a link down below because I have had some people ask recently. I'll put a link below to the guy's eBay link if you want to get a Dylan case feeder for your Lee, connector. But what I did is I went to my local Ace and I found 1/2-inch copper, and I basically took a piece of brass with me and went and found anything I could that would fit. And you can see it just fits, it just drops, see, perfectly. But then the trick is, how do you get it from up there to down here when it's not a straight line? And that's where the advantage of this guy's coil system worked great. So I actually played with unwinding the coil a little bit so that it would fit better. It was a bit of a mess, and it just didn't work well. So what I found is I went to the electrical department, and you can just see a little bit of it sticking out here, but it is flexible, and that's what's in here. It is flexible conduit. And it's a little messy because it does have a sharp edge, and you have to be careful when you cut it. But all I had to do was take this piece of copper tubing, shove it up in here, and it only goes maybe, 1.5 feet or so. And I'm going to back up and show you the whole setup now. Oh, wait, I got to show you the other piece. Then down here, there's this black feeder piece, and I'll show you up close what we're talking about. So we're talking about this piece here, and you can actually order these off Lee's website. So you can order 10 parts. I think it's 10 parts for free. You just have to pay the shipping. So it's one of the great things about the APP and the ACP is I've been ordering all kinds of extra parts, and then you can modify them if you want to use a magnum or rifle or all kinds of stuff, and you're not having to use the same piece for everything. So anyway, these are basically free on their website. You just pay, I think it's like a $7 shipping for, like I said, I think it's 10 parts or something. Anyway, and so normally this is the way it comes. And what I did is took a step drill bit like this and simply went in and reamed out this hole until my copper tube would fit in it. And then you have to ream out the bottom side too. And you just want to make it so that the brass fits, falls through. So you have to be careful. It's just enough. It's just enough for the brass to fall through. Okay. So I'm going to install this and show you what it looks like. And then I'll back up a little bit so you can see the whole thing in action. Okay, so here, hang on a second. And it's really hard because it's so tall. Yeah, it's not doing it justice. All right, so this is about the best I'm gonna be able to do, but you can see it fits down there, and then it's just going to feed all the way up right into the Dylan. And because this is loose, once this, I gotta push that in, but you can see it has just enough wiggle where the brass is going to feed through it. And that just allows the brass to come down, and it goes boom right through there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and decap a few of these, and you can watch it in action. It won't be super spectacular, but I'll be able to at least see. Let me just feed this real quick, and you'll get an idea. I'll show you up here. You see how it's just feeding real nice right in there? So one of the things you have to keep in mind is this tube has to stay relatively small because you've got the handle that needs to come by it. So it can't be something real fat, or this handle's going to be hitting the tube. And you're probably wondering why I have this vet wrap on there. Well, this flexible conduit is like, it's aluminum, and every time you touch it, your hands turn black, and it's really nasty. So I just took some vet wrap and just wrapped it around so that I can grab it without having any kind of issues. So again, I'm just going to kind of tighten that in there, and you can see, helps if I put in a decapper. So you can see here, it's just going to drop right in. It's hard because I'm trying to film, but you get the idea here. You have to be a little careful because the jaws on this red piece just barely open big enough. So normally I would sit here and just make sure if one looked like it was going to get a little squirrely, I'd hold it in, but 99% of them feed just fine. And that's my next challenge, is working on these feed lips to get them to open just a little bit wider. But like I said, most of the time it works fine. And for anybody that has magnums, like for me, I'm willing to put up with a little bit of the inconvenience because it just makes decapping so much faster. Also my expanding, and then I just moved this whole system over to this one to do priming, and I'm good to go. So anyway, I know some of you have struggled with magnums on this or asked about it. I just wanted to show you my solution. Maybe there's a better one out there, but for me this works. And all in all, this was like $5 in parts at Ace. So there you go. Hope you guys have a good day. We'll talk later.